Hello everyone and welcome to the Year 6 induction video on computer science. My name is Mr. Al-Masri and today we are going to be learning how to create a physical calculator and programming the calculator to do some addition for us as well as display the results. So the big question is, what process would you take to create a calculator? So what would you need to create a calculator? Now of course we start off with what we would need is the actual physical component that we can program and a few functions. Now I can understand these calculators have multiple functions, they've got multiple numbers, they've even got a huge screen over here that where you can see numbers and see your calculations being performed. So this is the task. Imagine you are a junior programmer at a mathematics engineering company. Okay, so you're someone in the industry. They needed you to help produce a very basic calculator that can add or subtract from two numbers. Very, very simple, right? So we don't have to go all crazy with multiplication and division and all of these other buttons that they have on these calculators. Just a nice simple add and subtract from two numbers. So what would you need? What functionality would you need to produce, and how would it look? How would it look for the consumer? Now that's something for you guys to think about. You can pause this video and maybe possibly draw your calculators. Maybe think about what you would need first and what sort of functionality you would add to the calculator. Okay, I'm going to assume that you guys have paused the video and have tried to draw the calculator of your dreams, and you've written down what you would need to produce this calculator. So what I would need is something that is programmable. So I need a physical component. Now microbit over here helps me out a ton, because a microbit is something that is physical, it's programmable, and it's it's a component. It's something that I can just grab onto, program, and it will do something that I ask it to do. Okay, now these are some examples you can see on the screen. These two are more virtual over here. The one on the left and the one on the one in the middle. The one on the right is the final product. So it looks something like this. You might have some of these already, or you might have seen them before, but if you haven't, this is the type of stuff that we will be going to program in year 7, 8 and 9. Okay, so when you do get into the course, these are the physical components that you'll be programming. Okay, so that's essentially what we need. We needed something that is physical, programmable. It might not look as appealing, but it does the job. Right, so we will use it to create a calculator that adds two numbers and displays the result. Now as you guys can see, there's only one small area where you can display results or display numbers. That's the area that we're going to be using to display both our numbers that we're going to be adding and the result, and I'll show you guys how that's done. Okay, so step one, we're going to need to visit this website. Now I'm going to be sharing this PowerPoint with you guys in case you wanted to go over the steps in detail. Now the PowerPoint will include all the steps, going from each step one at a time, teaching you guys how we did this. But just for the sake of teaching you guys live, I'm going to just simply do this by myself and you guys can follow along with me. So visit the website below. Make sure you enter the link correctly. So you guys need to enter every single keyword correctly, otherwise it will not work. Okay, so let's leave this PowerPoint. Now I'm already on the website, but just to show you guys that it works, I'm just gonna paste in this link and voila, we're over here. This is Microbit's website. What we're going to be doing is creating the virtual microbit that we can then transfer to our physical microbit. Now if you don't have a physical microbit, don't worry, you can hold on to the code until you get one. Okay, we will now start our project. These are the past projects I've done. Calculator project. Simple. How do we start this off? You probably won't be able to see these, but all you have to do is click new project. give your project a name. Now I already have a calculator project, so I'll just do calculator project 2. Okay, just for the sake of showing you guys from scratch. We don't need this, so we can just delete it. Yeah, just delete this block, so we don't need any of those. Just to show you guys the functionality, if anything, I'll just keep the first one just to show you guys how this works. So this is the virtual microbit. Okay, I've shown you guys the tangible one, so this is the one that actually you can get to see and hold on to. But this is the virtual one. Anything that we program on this virtual one can be transferred into this physical one. So anything that works here should work on the physical one if you transfer it over. Okay, so if I click on start, so this is one of the functions that we have. I'll just show you guys just the crazy stuff that we can do, just some basic stuff actually that we can do with microbit. So on start, show LEDs, which means I can draw a shape here. So if I hold on to the mouse and drag it, I can draw a shape and my microbit will mimic that shape. Okay, so I could do this. Okay, oh whoops, just need to drag it. Okay, and then I can have like a nice arrow shape over here. Okay, we can go even further. We can pause. If you guys have gone past shops and you've seen that they have lights that change their shapes every couple of seconds, this is simply one way of doing them. So we have one shape, we pause 100 milliseconds, and then we could proceed to create the other shape, and it should look like, if I press play, yeah, like that. So we wait, we show this, we pause, and then we show the other LED, and then we can make it loop around and do all other crazy stuff. Anyways, back to the main point. We're trying to create a calculator, so we don't need any of this. To start us off, we need functionality for this calculator. Okay, we need to basically press some buttons, and these buttons should be able to do something for us. And that something is, we want a button to display a number, right? So let's just do an input, because what we're going to be doing is inputting, clicking a button. Okay, we have button A over here, button B. Now these are already given by microbit, button A, button B, as you guys can see over here, button A, button B. When I press button A, I want something to happen. Now if I show you guys an example of that, when I press button A, show the icon love heart. If I press the button A now, love heart will show. Okay, if I press button B, nothing will show because I didn't really specify what happens when I press in button B. So let's say we want to do something in button A, and what that something is to show a number, right? We want it to show the number that we're trying to sort of increase. Okay, so I can just say 5. Okay, so if I press it now, if I press play, it will display the number 5. So now I know when I press A, it will display the number 5. But I don't want it to just display the number 5. I want to be able to choose what number I want to add. So from the two numbers that we're adding, this could potentially be one of them. I don't want it to be just fixed number 5. I want to kind of choose what number I want. Okay, so in order to do that, I need to create something called a variable, right? I'll just name it number 1. Okay, now this variable is something that is stored in the memory of the microbit, so it remembers number 1 as something. Okay, now by default, if I press show, sorry, let me just show you guys what I did there. So instead of show number 5, I drag and drop the variable inside the slot where the number 5 is, and then I put the entire block underneath when I press number A, and then by default number 1 should store the variable 0, or the number 0, sorry. The variable here should store the number 0. If I press run again, it will stay as 0. Okay, it will just show me the number 0. Okay, I want this number to increase whenever I press the number A. So then, like we said, we want it to change. We don't want it to just stick to one number. So when I press the number A, okay, change the number 1 variable by 1. Okay, so what I did is I added this extra functionality where it says change the number 1, the variable number 1, by 1. So what we're doing, guys, is we are just increasing the variable number 1 by 1 number. So every time I click A, we can see the number 1 that is shown after is just increasing by 1 each time I press number A. Now you can see when I go into a double-digit number, it actually shows number 10 in a slide sort of format. Press another one, number 11, number 12, so on and so forth. So now that we have one of our buttons working, what we're going to do is exactly the same thing. We're just going to repeat the same sort of process, but for the second button, button B. Okay, so let's do it again. Go to input, drag and drop another one, change. So in order to make this into B, we have to click this A, change it to function B. Now it will glow, meaning that we can use it. And then we're gonna do the same thing, create another variable, call it number 2. Okay, and then we're gonna go to basic, click show number. Okay, and then we're gonna do show number, drag and drop number 2 in here, and then change number 2 by 1. So exactly the same thing, right? I have 2 buttons over here. Inside each button, I have a change the variable by 1. So we're just adding 1 to the variable each time I click the button. And then each time that happens, I also show the number, just so the person knows, oh, this is the number now. This is the number now after it's been increased. So for example, let's show this in the visual format. I click play. A is 1. A is 2. Let's say I want to add 5 with 6. So I say I want, oops, oh, let's retry that. I went overboard. Okay, start again. When we start again, it just resets everything. So there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to add 5, and now I add the second number, which is when I press B. Remember, number 2 is a different variable. It should start from 1, from 0 going up to 1. So I'm adding 5 with, there we go, 6. Okay, so now these 2 buttons represent different things. Whilst I can increase A, okay, so A is on number 10, B should be on number 7, going to 8, going to 9. So they're 2 different numbers now that increase when I press either A or press B. They increase independently of each other. Okay, now I have 2 numbers. Now I can select 2 numbers that I want to add. The final sort of function now, what we need to include is the addition. We want to be able to add these 2 numbers, okay, and we want to be able to display these 2 numbers. So far we have, whenever I press A, change the number 1 by 1, then show the number 1, the variable, and whenever I press B, change number 2 by 1, show the number 2 as well. We need a third functionality now to add these 2. Okay, we can either do on shake, which will basically do something when you shake the micro bit, which is like this. If I show you guys, see it, yeah, shaking. Or you could just press the button shake over here and it should do something when you shake the micro bit. Actually happens in the physical one as well. So if you shake this micro bit that you have in your hand, it will also do the thing that you want it to do. But we're just going to exclude that for now. We're going to make it a little bit more simple. I want it so when I press both A and B together to add the number from A and the number from B. So when I press A and B together, it should do something, right? So what is that something? Simply adding two numbers. Okay, so we go into maths. Okay, we just put this on the side just for now, because what maths does is gives us a bunch of different mathematical sort of functions. And then what I want to do is I want to drag and drop the show number. Okay, when I drag and drop the show number out, this should sort of if I press A and B now, it should just show me 0 and it'll be fixed on 0. This is no different from these two. Okay, but what I want to do is show, so if I drag this, the addition of number 1 and number 2. How do we do that? Very, very simple. We go back to variables, drag and drop number 1, drag and drop number 2. Now let's just talk through the logic behind everything that's going on now. Whenever A is pressed, show number 1, increase the number 1 by 1, then show the number 1. Whenever B is pressed, change the number 2 by 1, and then show the number 2, so that we get to see A and B increase whenever we press. And then whenever we press both of them at the same time, so if I hold this button and this button at the same time, it should do something. So this button and this button, A and B, if I hold them both at the same time, it should show us the result of adding number 1 and adding number 2. Okay, let's test if this works. Yeah, let's test to see if it works. So let's just add maybe 3 plus 4. Okay, let's do that. Okay, so I'll do, for number A, increase it to 3 plus 4 from number B. So if I start going, pressing B, so we have 3 plus 4, yeah, which should give us 7, and then I click A and B, so that really represents me pressing both of these buttons. That should show me the additional, the result of the addition. Okay, so if I click A plus B, there we go, 7. Yeah, 3 plus 4 is 7. Okay, and if we want to try something else, let's do 2 plus 2. Okay, 2, and then we increase B to 2, and then we do A plus B, 4. Yeah, and that's that. And if you wanted to change it up a bit, maybe you wanted to do subtraction, all you have to do is click on the icon over here, and it should take away number 1 from number 2. Okay, number 2 from number 1. So we do 5, take away 3. That should give us 2. Okay, do the same thing for multiplication. If we wanted to do that as well, 2 times 4, A and B, and that should give us 8. Okay, there's a lot more to it. The next steps is to possibly try and make it so that you can select whether you want a plus or a minus or a multiplication or subtraction. You give them the option to select which one you want instead of having to change this every time. That's probably what our next steps should be like, and hopefully if you guys spend some time on this, on this project, try to develop it. Maybe once you guys have finished with your project, all you have to do is save the project. You will get this hex file. Okay, if you did have a physical microbit with you, then all you would need to do is connect it to the USB and then drag this file inside the microbit. If you don't, then it's fine. Whenever you get the physical microbit, that's when you can drag and drop the saved hex file. Okay, but this should work now. If I downloaded this file and placed it inside my microbit, it should work exactly like the virtual one over here. Okay, I hope that covered everything. If you guys do need help, again, I've uploaded the step-by-step instruction PowerPoint presentation. So this should be a bit more in depth and a bit slower than the way I sort of presented it. It should explain every single sort of procedure that I've taken, and you know, by the end of it, you should have a final product that looks exactly like mine. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you guys in year 7. Thank you very much.